All right, man, peace. So, brothers, a few months ago, I released a video in which I hypothesized that when LeBron James' career starts to decline, that he would attempt to siphon some of the energy from his son's burgeoning NBA career or basketball career, assuming that his son goes to college to play basketball. He would try to siphon some of his son's basketball energy over to himself to try to elongate his time period in the spotlight. And there have been a couple of stories that have emerged in the mainstream media that seem to confirm that sentiment. One of them being this narrative right here, where LeBron James has stated that he wants his son Bronny to attend Duke University, assuming that Bronny goes to college to play college basketball. What that also does is that lends credence to the notion that one of the main reasons why Coach K, Mike Krzyzewski, always seems to be such a prominent advocate for LeBron James is because Coach K, like LeBron, is a part of the Nike family. He's a part of that Nike pipeline where you have certain athletes who get funneled to Duke University because Coach K is an asset, just like LeBron James. So we'll see if LeBron James tries to encourage his son to attend Duke University, or if this just another one of LeBron's whimsicalities, because next week it could be Kentucky, because remember, he's also quote-unquote cool with John Calipari. Of course, they're going to talk about it, and I'm going to chime in.
Sticking with LeBron, James got social media in a frenzy when he commented on an Instagram video of Coach K defending his players, hinting at where he would like his son, LeBron James Jr., to play in 2023.
Now, let's keep one thing in mind. Coach K was on the Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman show last week, speaking about Zion Williamson, and also, once again, standing firmly in the corner of LeBron James when he was asked why it appears as if so many other of the NBA stars do not want to play with LeBron. Coach K asserted that it was because they could not deal with the pressure of playing with LeBron James, because he knows that he has to make sure that he stays in LeBron's good graces, because there's the potential for him to eventually inherit Bronny Jr. and to act as an overseer or handler to Bronny Jr.'s career until he's ferried into the NBA.
For more, let's get you back to First Take. All right, we'll get to LeBron's running point for the Lake Show in just a bit, but we start with his son, Bronny. Do it for the gram. Stephen A., hi to you and everybody out there in Dallas. Hi, guys. Get ready for the game.
Can you hear us, Stephen A.? Can you hear us? I'm barely hearing you right now. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'll talk louder. Cover your ears, Max. What do you make of LeBron's Instagram post supporting Coach K and kind of teasing the whole situation with his son and Duke?
It's consistent with LeBron James's behavior. He has a lot of feminine characteristics. He loves attention. He loves to put out notions that he really has no sincere intent on following up on. And he'll continue to flirt with Coach K and John Calipari until his son comes of age. And then, predictably, LeBron will probably get on TV with his son and announce in concert with him that Bronny's going to declare for the NBA. It would not shock me at all. But expect LeBron to flirt with both Calipari and Coach K over the next 4 years.
I don't like it. And let me say this. It's nothing against LeBron. It's certainly nothing against his son. I would never speak against an athlete's child, for crying out loud. Nothing but love for LeBron, and I understand his support for Coach K. I get that. And I revere Coach K. He's one of the greatest, arguably the greatest ever. He's a 5-time national champion, for crying out loud.
Well, Stephen A. Smith, you're not supposed to revere another man. You can say you respect Coach K for his accomplishments, but to say you revere him, that normally means that you put him on a pedestal as an idol.
But I don't think people truly appreciate what I have been saying for years in regards to this matter. It is unfair that Mike Krzyzewski was the Team USA basketball coach for 2008, 2012, 2016. Anybody who believes that that did not give him a profound advantage over his contemporaries, I think should be drug tested.
Right, but Stephen A. Smith, what exactly is the point here? Are you saying that the reason why Coach K has an inside track on Bronny Jr. is because he acted as the coach of LeBron James in the Olympics back in 2008 and 2012? If so, that's par for the course. Remember, this is a business. That's why people make money. They're making money because they're participating in the business of basketball, not just the sport of basketball. Coach K knows that he has to make certain alliances with major corporations like Nike, etc., so that he can put himself in the position to allocate certain prominent athletes. There's nothing wrong with that. Beyond that, Krzyzewski has shown over the course of the last 35 years that he's such a great coach that he gets to where he's getting because of his proficiency as a coach, first off, not because of manipulative tactics. Of course, those do come into play because you do have to embody a certain Machiavellian mindset in order to maintain power. It's not just about how proficient you are at what you do. It's also about your ability to not only anticipate what your quote-unquote enemies or your rivals are going to do, but to try to instigate them to do what you want them to do. And that's truly what rulership is all about. So Krzyzewski is going to play LeBron's game over the next 4 years or so and hope that it pays off with him being able to bring in or bring on Bronny Jr. to the Duke squad.
It makes no sense whatsoever. Listen to this. You have a guy that was great in his own right in Mike Krzyzewski. The Duke program was great in its own right. But we're talking about the sport of basketball where one or two players can literally change a program.
Stephen A. Smith, let me ask you a question, brother. When Larry Brown was declared to be the coach of the 2004 Olympic team, did you say, well, David Stern, that's not fair because you're putting Larry Brown as the head coach of the 2004 Olympic team? That might make it easier for certain head coaches that are associated with the Olympic team to speak to free agents who might be playing for that Olympic team that also happen to be prominent players. Did you say that?
That's the sport of basketball. You can talk about the other guys on the team all you want to. But when you talk about Zion Williamson and R.J. Barrett together alone, I ain't even bring up Cam Reddish. That's a big deal. And so when we're talking about the sport of basketball, and you're talking about little kids out there.
Stephen A. Smith, being on the coaching staff of the USA Olympic basketball team has nothing to do with why Coach K is bringing in many of these top-flight young high school basketball recruits. As a matter of fact, it's only been the last 2 or 3 years or so that he has succumbed to the quote-unquote one-and-done mentality where you promise that you're going to help any prospective high school basketball superstar, that you're going to put him in the limelight and make him a better player in the 1 year that he's there and prepare him for the NBA. It's only been the last 2 or 3 years that he has succumbed to that mentality because he realized the reason why Calipari was viewed as being a superior coach to him over the last 2 or 3 years was because Calipari acted as one of the vanguards for not just succumbing to, but propagating the understanding that, look, if these kids just want to play 1 year in college basketball, then let them. We're just going to make them think that we're here to assist them in any way that we can. We're going to take advantage of their talents for that 1 year, and we're just going to keep the food line moving. Because throughout every hood in America, you have 6'6", 6'7" young black men who want to play in professional basketball. We could sell them a dream, and however well they turn out in the NBA is how they turn out. But we're going to make sure that we keep the gravy train moving through the University of Kentucky and now the University of Duke. That's all it's about. Really, him being a head coach for the USA Olympic basketball team has had little to nothing to do with his ability to recruit the top-notch high school basketball prospects.
From impoverished communities, I might add, in some instances, obviously, okay? You're talking about going to a Duke program that's in a great conference, the ACC, with a rivalry like North Carolina, with all the national television exposure and all of this other stuff. And then on top of it all, you got LeBron James vouching for you? Okay, well, would LeBron James have vouched for John Calipari? It's possible. Will LeBron James have vouched for Roy Williams if Roy Williams is a coach? It's possible.
I doubt it, because Roy Williams is the coach of the University of North Carolina. And as we all know, LeBron James, in his own mind, is having a beef with Michael Jordan. And we know that Michael Jordan is probably the most famous graduate of the University of North Carolina. So I could pretty much guarantee that LeBron James does not want his son to attend the University of North Carolina. If anything, he wants him to go to Duke. If he were to go to college, it's going to be either Duke or Kentucky.
Will LeBron James have vouched, for a plethora of coaches out there that would have been qualified to coach Team USA as well? Of course they would have. So the bottom line is that Mike Krzyzewski, being the coach 3 times, 8 straight years, don't tell me that doesn't give him an advantage. And the greatest player in the world, speaking up for Mike Krzyzewski, certainly doesn't hurt.
I'm not telling you that. Those are the compounding advantages of being the best.
I agree. To me, those are ancillary aspects or exterior aspects of some of the residue of being one of the most prominent basketball coaches, not just in college, but overall for the past 30 years or so. I mean, that's par for the course. Yes, due to his greatness and due to many of his successes as the head coach of the Duke Blue Devils, he was chosen to be one of the assistant coaches for the USA basketball program. And I mean, that's going all the way back to the Dream Team. Like, Mike Krzyzewski was associated with the first Dream Team, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and those guys. Like, he is considered the creme de la creme. So you just can't sit back now and say, oh, well, I don't like that he's involved with LeBron James. Mike Krzyzewski was famous in basketball before LeBron James, and certainly before Bronny.
Oh, it's unfair. Cry me a river, everyone else. Who cares if it's unfair?
I agree.
Stephen A., you're talking about it's unfair in terms of the organization of where the kids go in college basketball. That is not Team USA's job. Team USA's job is to bring home the gold. That's it. So you assemble the best coaching staff you can in order to achieve that aim. And if they believe that it's Krzyzewski who should be on the staff every time, then he should be on the staff every single time.
Agreed.
And over everyone else. We also, by the way, if our best players want to play on the team, don't tell them. I'm sure it helps them in terms of endorsements and such, right?
Absolutely.
Right? We don't say if LeBron, for example, wants to play on Team USA, you know, LeBron, you played the last couple of times. Give this other guy who's not as good as you a chance to play.
Absolutely not. And beyond that, let me say this. Many of the more prominent players in the NBA have woefully chosen to become a part of the United States Olympic basketball program to help assist them in a reclamation of a better image for themselves. One of those examples is Mr. Kobe Bean Bryant, who right in the aftermath of going to the NBA Finals in 2008 was able to boost his image even more in the aftermath of the allegations of rape with the female in Colorado by going to the Olympics in 2008. And then he went back again in 2012 after he'd already won his back-to-back championships in 2009 and 2010. So many people are reaping the benefits of being involved in the United States Olympic basketball program, not just Coach Mike Krzyzewski. And that's not even to mention LeBron, who, as we already know, is a Nike athlete.
It's not fair the way you get on. This is just going to help your endorsements and help your business. That is not the job of Team USA. So you're right, it gives Coach K extra advantages, but the reason he's in that position in the first place is because he's the best college coach. And therefore, he has compounding advantages.
Now, I just want to ask you a simple question, Max, in all seriousness, all joking aside. I ask you a sincere question. Is Mike Krzyzewski the only coach that could have won the Olympic gold?
Nope.
No, he's not, Stephen A. Smith, but that's not the point. The point is that you get the best.
Nope. With that team, with the teams they had in 2000, I mean, they had Kobe and D. Wade and LeBron and Melo and all of these guys. What I'm saying is
so then, Stephen A. Smith, why even have a coach? If your attempt at a rebuttal was that anybody could have coached those guys, then why even have a coach in the first place? Just send the guys there and say, you know what, play street ball against the best teams all across the planet, and we assume that you're going to win.
Is that in any other profession, I get where you're coming from. But USA basketball, with its exceptionalism, with its dominance, didn't need Coach K 3 consecutive Olympics to win the gold.
Think about it.
3 consecutive Olympics. Coach K has been involved going all the way back to 1992, Stephen A. Smith.
And so what I'm saying
stay right there. Stay right there. That's how we felt originally. Our amateurs, our kids were getting beaten for the gold sometimes. We said this is BS because the communist countries can send their best players and we send our kids. You know what we're going to do? We're going to...
Not only that, Max Kellerman, but the communist countries and the countries, for the most part, all across the world, were sending their professional basketball players. They were sending their professionals against the best college players coming out of the United States university programs. And that's why eventually the United States Olympic basketball team started to lose. They lost in 1988, that team with David Robinson and Danny Manning. Now, of course, in 1984, the team led by Michael Jordan and Chris Mullin and Patrick Ewing, coached by Bobby Knight, they were dominant. As a matter of fact, aside from the first Dream Team, and maybe, the team in 08 and 2012, that 1984 Olympic basketball team is without a doubt the greatest Olympic basketball team that has ever participated in the Olympics. And to be quite frank with you, it wouldn't shock me if that 84 team could have beaten the 2008 basketball team and the 2012 basketball team, because that 1984 Olympic basketball team, they were something like 8-0 or 9-0 against the best players in the NBA when they staged scrimmages against them.
We're going to send our best players, Dream Team, stomp the world, right? Then we started getting a little complacent as time went on. Well, these guys already did it. They don't want to do it again. The shine is off a little bit. Let's send our second best players. Let's send our third best players. Let's mix it up and give everyone a chance. Suddenly we started to lose. No, you keep the pedal to the metal.
I agree, sir.
Players, that's not coaching.
Best team.
That's players, that's not coaching.
Well, Stephen A. Smith, you just said that coaching don't matter. So now you're saying, well, it's players, not coaches. So America should send the absolute best players, but the coaching doesn't matter. So what you're saying is that in 2004, Larry Brown, he really had no impact. Is that what you're saying, Stephen A. Smith? Because that's not what the players who played on that team stated. And on that team, they had your boy, Allen Iverson. You also had Tim Duncan there. And they lost. They got the bronze. So something was going on there, Stephen A. Smith.
That's players, that's not coaching. And by the way, I understand the same idea, but let me throw this other idea by you. I got Mike Krzyzewski's record right in front of me. All the years, those national championships. He won his fourth national championship, Max. His third national championship in 2001. The next national championship came in 2009, 2010, a year after he coached the Olympics. You look at a guy that was once averse to embracing one and dones. Now, all of a sudden, he gravitates towards it, and religiously for the last 5 years, he's had the top recruiting class. I am saying to you that...
So in other words, he's changed with the times. Stephen A. Smith, if you don't adapt to the changes around you, you are going to fall by the wayside and become a dinosaur.
Obviously, coaching Team USA had something to do with that. I know you said Team USA doesn't care, and I think that's a different argument. But the argument that I'm making is whether it's LeBron James or it's Mike Krzyzewski himself or Jerry Colangelo or NCAA officials or what have you, I'm not sitting there and knocking them because Coach K didn't do anything wrong. I'm simply saying that when you look at the position it puts him in, it's unfair to all of those college coaches out there for him to have that kind of flagrant advantage. That's not right. That's not right.
Give me a break, Stephen A. Smith. It'd be one thing if Mike Krzyzewski was being put in the position that he's being put in out of some form of preferential treatment, but at the end of the day, he's already established through his coaching acumen that he's earned most of the titles that he's received.
I want to ask you guys a question.
Yeah.
So Bronny's in 8th grade, right? By the time he comes out, the rules might change, so he might be able to come out of high school. So we're talking, 5 years from now? Mm-hmm. Exactly?
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. You think him and LeBron will play together for a year? So listen, LeBron would be 30.
LeBron James is already on record as stating that he wants to play with his son, Bronny. And I'm pretty sure that by the time it is time for LeBron James Jr. to declare what his intentions are going to be, that the NBA will have changed the rule and will allow high school players to come straight from high school into the NBA.
38,
I think LeBron's going to stick
39.
around to do that.
Yeah.
Ken Griffey Sr. did that with Ken Griffey Jr. in Seattle. Of course, the difference is Ken Griffey Jr. became a better player than Ken Griffey Sr. ever was. If Bronny becomes better than LeBron James, the odds are so stacked against it. Griffey was an all-star. LeBron James is one of the probably 3 best players who ever lived. But Stephen A., I think LeBron will stick around for that.
What do you think, Stephen A.? They'll play together?
I don't think so. I think
LeBron James Sr. is already on record as stating that that is a goal of his. So he will purposefully try to remain in the league until his son emerges. Now, the only question is going to be, how is he going to organize his son being drafted to the team that he's playing on? That's the only question.
think he'll be gone by then, and I think Coach K will be gone by then as well. I don't see Coach K coaching the next 5 years.
That wouldn't shock me, because just looking at Krzyzewski, he's starting to look a little weathered. He's starting to look a little worn down.
Have been rumors that this might be his last year. So I don't know.
No, Stephen A. I mean, in 5 years, he'd be out of high school and he could go straight to the league. We're talking if he's good enough and the rules change, which they probably will, going straight out of high school to the league and playing with LeBron.
I guess it's possible. I guess it's possible. I don't see it, though. I think LeBron will be gone by then.
All right.
I doubt it, Stephen A. Smith. I doubt if LeBron's going to be gone by the time it's time for his son to come into the NBA. He's already on record as stating that he wants to play with his son.
We shall see. It's fun to talk about, though.
Well,
right?
he has a 4-year deal with the Lakers.
I think this is it. I think there's 4 years in LA. I think this is it.
But here's the other thing. A 4-year deal with the Lakers means he'll have a pretty good idea whether his son could make the league or not by then. And if he can, and it's about to happen, I'd say all bets are off. But, we'll see.
We'll leave it there, guys.
But anyway, that's basically it on that. We'll see what happens when it comes time for Bronny Jr. to decide whether or not he wants to enjoy the college experience or whether or not he wants to enjoy the NBA experience. Because I promise you, even if the scouts, the prognosticators, and the evaluators determine that he's only going to be a marginal NBA player, LeBron James will pull enough strings to allow his son to be drafted to whatever team he's on. So peace.